right, so this is Math 200 for week 2. By this point, we've gone over sections 1.1 and section 1.2. So we've been doing a lot of word problems, some patterns, the Gaussian method for adding up these big lists of numbers. Your first quiz is due in MyLab this Saturday. If you do not have an access code, all right, you need to go ahead, use the MyLab link in D2L, and go ahead, create an account, and sign up for a temporary account. Okay, so there's no reason you should have an account right now. There's no reason you shouldn't. If you're still working on getting an access code, you can purchase it from the bookstore. It is bundled with the book, or you can buy it from the publisher. I have the link on my syllabus, and I think in D2L as well. So the first assignment, your first from the classroom one, is assigned this week. It is due a week from Saturday. Now, some things to note. It is going to be due either in person, if you want to, let's see, a week from Saturday. No, we're still going to be online, so never mind about the in-person part. You're going to have to scan it and upload it to D2L. So I was hoping maybe we would be back in person by then, but yeah, no, we're not, alas. But some things to notice about the first from the classroom assignment, okay? So looking at this, image here, I just wanted to show you three-dimensionally what we're doing here. We want to find, it says if all the unglued faces, including the bases, are to be painted. You know, is there a pattern or a formula that will help you figure out how many faces there are to paint on a staircase that is 100 cubes long and 100 cubes tall? Right? So that means, you know, just so you can get a visual, so this would be 1 cube. You would paint all 6 sides. The 2 would look like this. Okay? Now, what are you painting? You are painting anything you can touch. So if you can touch the side, see, touch, 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 touch. If you can touch it, you have to paint it. What do you not paint? Well, any of these that are glued together. So like, see if I pop this off, you wouldn't paint this, and you wouldn't paint this underside because those are touching. Okay, so you're going to have to take into consideration that you're painting the sides, both sides, front and back, this back side, the base, the top of the stairs, and the fronts of these stairs. So there's the 2 shape. So we got the 1 and the 2. The 3 looks like this. So you can kind of get a visual of what's happening here. Remember, if you can touch it, you have to paint it. So I don't want you to think that these are just 2-dimensional. These are 3-dimensional shapes that you are going to be trying to find a pattern within. So again, you're going to want to paint all of these sides, flip it over, all of these sides, the back side of it, the base, the top of the stairs, you know, the part you would walk on, and then those fronts of the stairs here. Okay, all right. So that's what the third one looks like, and then of course, you know, the fourth one is going to look like this. See how it's 4 high, 4 long? So it goes 4, 3, 2, 1. So I just wanted to show you the 3-dimensional shapes that go along with that, just so you're clear about, you know, what these look like. For the second question, I think you're going to find it helpful to draw a picture, and I'll give you a hint on that one that I want you to use figure-it numbers. So that's something that we discussed in section 1.2. You do not have to run through the entire list of possibilities here. Please don't. It will take you a while. Okay. Remember, just because a pattern works for a few numbers doesn't mean it will work every single time. That's something very important to remember, because I get that question a lot, right? You'll see a pattern kind of start to emerge somewhere, and students will be like, oh, does that always work? And I'm like, whew, that's a big question. Always? For all the numbers? I mean, that's a really serious question. So you want to make sure that your pattern does work, and sometimes drawing a picture, you know, can help with that. So, okie dokie. So there's your 3 questions here for this first from the classroom. And I've got one more thing that if we were in person, this is something that the kind of enrichment and extra stuff that I'd want to talk about with you. A friend of mine in Virginia sent me a text and said, "Help, I'm struggling with my daughter's second grade math work." So I know you're probably thinking, who struggles with second grade math? Well, here we go. Here's the math problem that she sent me. Jeff finds some bugs. He finds 10 fewer grasshoppers than crickets. He finds 5 fewer crickets than ladybugs. If Jeff finds 5 grasshoppers, how many ladybugs did he find? How many crickets did he find? Write 2 equations to solve the problem. So this is the kind of stuff I'd want to talk about in class. I'm not looking to just teach you guys by, hey, let me just do some problems. It's these kinds of experiences that are going to make you guys good teachers, being able to think through things like this. So what I want you to do is I want you to look at this problem, and I want you to send me an email with your answers to this. This is a second grade math problem. Okay? I want you to write 2 equations, and explain how to solve this to a second grader. Okay? To a second grader, so to a 7-year-old. Now, that means when you go to explain this, you cannot use algebra. So don't go handing me some equations with X and Y and stuff like that in there. All right? You cannot use algebra. So I want you to just try to give me, a brief explanation. You can type this into an email, or if you want, you can write it up. If you want to draw some pictures or anything like that, absolutely. That's awesome. And if you want to do that, you can just email me a picture of what you have. So just take a picture of it, kick it on over to me in an email. So I'm just curious about how you guys would handle this before I reveal, how I advised her to explain it to her daughter. So I'm just curious what you guys would do with this. So, okay, so that wraps up week 2. You guys have a From the Classroom, you have a quiz that is due, and then you've got this second grade math problem that I'm curious as to how you guys would respond to this. So, all right, you guys know where to find me. If you should have any questions, you can always email me, or you can drop in to my office hours that are from 11 to 1, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. No appointment needed. And if you have any questions about something and it's outside of office hours, you can just take a picture of whatever you're working on and email it to me. And I will help you through email. So, all right, that does it for Math 200 Week 2.